take a picture inside your body and look at what your organs are doing. Chinese medicine is one of observing nature, of observing natures, or observing tendencies, ways of being. We see the process of life and we study it more like a weaving or a tapestry. The warp of people's being is sort of their genetics, the weft, what's being woven moment by moment are their epigenetics. And that is kind of happening as we express our lives, as our lives take shape and happen. It's really essential to understand a patient before diagnosing any pattern they have or disharmony that they have. The nature of the patient is something that needs to be kind of understood. People have natures. It's also essential to understand the nature of a pathology. Here's my little, oops, we'll skip that one. Diseases have natures, right? So when we're treating a pathology, people have very different kinds of expressions of those pathologies, comparing the common cold, for example, to the SARS epidemic. These pathogens were very different types of pathogens, and because of Chinese medicine's ability to discern these differences, it got us a lot of attention in the media because we were actually able to save some lives. It's very adept at matching a pathogen, a person's nature, and the stage of a disease's progression, another thing that's kind of unique to Chinese medicine. I wish we had all day to talk about this stuff, I'm sorry. So in the West, if 6 people had a sinus infection, they'd all be treated with antibiotics, right? In Chinese medicine, there might be 3 or 4 or 5 different patterns among those 6 people. One might be a seasonal allergy situation that went wrong. One might be a long-standing immune condition that became a very deep-seated infection. And those things we would treat very differently. So what does this have to do with turmeric? I'm sorry. It's an important note. There are multiple forms of curcumin. Curcuma in Latin, there are at least 4 different types. Curcuma longa is one of the 3 medicinals that come from the curcumin family in Chinese medicine, and it's the one that's most widely talked about when referring to turmeric, and the one that is also most widely studied scientifically. So turmeric, like all herbs in Chinese medicine, has a nature. It's spicy, bitter, and warming. It helps with disharmonies that affect the spleen, stomach, heart, liver, and urinary bladder channels. I had to memorize all the stuff to pass my board exams, so it can be really helpful in moving stuck energy that's caused from exposure to cold. So, for example, I had a 34-year-old patient who began work in a new environment, had been working at a desk job where it was warm and cozy, began working in a deep freeze where he was moving around frozen things using his hands all day. Chief complaint, bilateral hand pain. And great case for turmeric. He would have, we used a number of different herbs. Again, in Chinese medicine, we rarely ever use a single herb to treat a condition because everyone's different. We might be making modifications, adding other herbs to a formula in order to potentiate or reduce a desired effect or potentiate or reduce what we might perceive as a side effect. Another example, a 58-year-old woman in my personal care who I treated for menopausal symptoms years back, cleared those up, cleared up her eczema. She was doing great. 7 or 8 years later, she's presenting to me in class or in clinic with hot flashes, night sweats, and insomnia, and her eczema had come back. And I was kind of befuddled because usually when you clear those things up, they're gone. And so just because I'm a curious person and because I wanted to know, because my own medical doctor started suggesting I take Chinese herbs, I asked if she was taking any herbs that were from anyone other than me. Sure enough, turmeric. So turmeric's often prescribed with black pepper because it's allegedly making it more bioavailable. So those are 2 very hot, spicy compounds. You give those hot, spicy compounds to a thin, already steamy, hyped up, aggravated, anxious, easily startled person, she's gonna get really sick. So, turmeric was a nightmare. Now I know everyone beyond thinking about these things, it does work well for some people, but usually those people have a cold constitution or have been exposed to some kind of cold pattern. Look, I had to memorize 480 medicinal substances, their natures, effects, side effects, negative actions, possible contraindications, interactions with medications in order to become a board-certified acupuncturist and herbalist. It is my modest proposal that if people are going to start using these substances known to Chinese medicine in Western clinical settings, that they learn basics of Chinese diagnostics, because these medicines are powerful life-saving tools, and if misused, we can do great damage, just like the pharmacopoeia of the West. Turmeric isn't right for everyone. It won't work for everybody. In some cases, it may slip under the radar as an innocuous seasoning, but in other cases, it can cause real harm. Thank you.